Yo, what's going on? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. And it's time for another live stream. Today is, what day is it? It's Wednesday, February 14th, 2024. Guys, ladies, it is Valentine's Day. So hopefully none of you guys have forgotten that. I did not forget that. I have young kids though, so they don't let me forget stuff like that. But yeah, it's Valentine's Day. Hopefully, if you're the kind of couple that celebrates the holiday, hopefully you remembered something to do something for your significant other. My wife and I don't really do a lot for Valentine's Day. We've never been like a Valentine's Day kind of celebrating couple. Although I guess, I don't know, maybe we did earlier when we were dating, but that's not us now. But completely unrelated to Valentine's Day, today I'm going to be unboxing a pillow. Normally I'm not a big fan of buying pillows on the internet, but not this podcast, but the other podcast I'm involved in, Relay, has picked up Lagoon as a sponsor. And so people at Relay were like, hey, you got to go fill out this quiz and they'll send you a pillow. And then can you talk about the pillow? And I was like, sure. So here we are. We got a pillow. We'll get to that. But first, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast, on the audio only version. Hopefully having a good run. Weather's been kind of nice out here in the Midwest. I mean, I only got back last night. But from what I hear, it's been pretty nice. And it's we might have some not great weather on the weekend. But it's the full spring has not yet dispersed. So I'm feeling good about that. For me today, I just had a long sleeve and thin gloves and full tights. And that was great. It was really nice. So hopefully you have good weather where you are. I know a lot of the East Coast is getting pummeled by snow. I know a lot of the Rockies are getting pummeled by snow. So you guys are not in full spring, but hopefully you'll get that soon. Because we got spring marathons coming up. I think that's the next big thing on the calendar, right? So hopefully you guys are getting that training in. And for everyone else watching this later but not live, someone sent me a good number one that I could use, and I don't remember it right now. But I'm going to say this is the number one podcast to listen to while you are shopping for things on the internet that you might want to buy later. I have a trip coming up. I'm not going to tell you about it yet, but I'm doing some online shopping, picking up some new pieces of apparel because I don't have a lot of branded clothes from that company. So I've been doing some shopping, and a podcast like this is a perfect thing to have on in the background. So, hopefully you're not shopping for a Valentine's Day gift as you're watching this later but not live. Because by the time you see this later but not live, you're pretty late. But, maybe you're making some dinner reservations. You can have this on in the background. All right, that's enough of that. Let's see who we got in the chat. Kelvin says, I love that people misheard the pillow sponsor on the drop and called it Lagoon pillows. It's Lagoon, like a creature from the Blue Lagoon. But I hear Lagoon now. Not that you mention it. I didn't hear that when I heard it. But yeah, I'm normally not like a pillow guy because of the pillow guy. But I've been told that these are insurrection-free pillows, so I'm willing to give it a shot. And we'll talk about it later. But let's see who else we got here in the chat. All right, Patrick Smith says, speaking of shopping, the Tracksmith PR promo works. Got mine today and expires in 30 days. Awesome. So this is Tracksmith is not a sponsor of anybody, but they're not a sponsor of this podcast. But I will say, I think they're running a promo now. If you have a PR, I think there's a certain range of distances. But if you run a race and you hit a PR and submit it to them, they'll give you a $100 gift card, which I think is pretty cool. That's a lot of money. It could be a lot. It could be a lot of money. So for those of you running those spring tune-up races, maybe you're doing a race you have a distance you haven't done in a while. There you go. Tony Messia says, number one podcast to listen to while I'm working at a trade show on day 2, and it's dead in here. Tony, I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah, trade shows are hard. Even trade shows that I love, like TRE, day 2, that's a hard day. That's a very hard day. It's a long day, And I remember there's other trade shows that I used to be involved in my previous life. That second day, because, after the first day, everyone goes after it pretty hard, And for me, that was a bunch of lawyer nerds, Not all lawyer nerds, but law-related nerds. And we're all, and then the next day, the second day of the conference would be really tough. Kelvin Long says, an insurrection-free pillow is guaranteed to be 100% treason-free leadership. I actually don't have official word. I feel like if you're selling pillows on the internet in 2024, there has to be a portion on your website that says, like, we do not support the insurrection. I feel like there needs to be, that would make me feel a lot better about it. But the other people on Relay, I'm going to rely on them to have done their research on it, because they're pretty thoughtful people. And so, and you know what? That makes me think. I'm going to double check with Matt Chittum later, but we'll take a look at the pillow today either way. Mark Peterson says, my pillow guy, sad that he's from my home state. I feel like you got to have a bad one, right? Because Minnesota's been on a roll, right? Emma Bates, Dakota Lindworm. You guys are now claiming also Annie Frisbee, even though she's from Wisconsin, but she lives and trains in Minnesota. You got Carrie Tollefson, Kara Goucher. There's a lot going for Minnesota running wise. So you were bound to take an L at some point. A Sega Dreamcast says, yo, welcome back. Hope your time away was awesome. Yes, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to be out in Phoenix. We had booked the trip a while ago, and in the couple of days leading up to it, I saw that Remy was in Phoenix for some reason. I was like, hey, are you in Phoenix for work? Are you going to be here over there over the weekend or what? He's like, yeah, I'm in town for a race. And I'm like, oh, there's a race. That's cool. What are you running? And he's like, it's Mesa Marathon. I'm pacing a friend. I was like, oh, Mesa Marathon's this weekend. So then I started keeping an eye out for who else had bibs that they were posting. And so I made it a surprise to go out there. So I knew about the race. It's not the race itself wasn't a surprise, but I didn't plan to go out to the Mesa Marathon. It just happened to be, it's the last weekend before my in-laws leave Phoenix for the winter. So they've been there for like 8 weeks, or they will have been there for 8 weeks by the time they leave. And that was the last weekend that they were going to be there. So timing just worked out. And it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun to watch that race. Alf Dickinson says, Boom Shakalaka, Boom Shanka Tracksmith. I thought it said Boom Shakalaka, but it says Boom Shanka. Maybe that's the British translation of that. But he says, I'm going to smash my marathon PR on Sunday at Seville, 100%. Well, good luck in Seville. I hope the weather's going to be good for you. I don't know much about Seville. I know a lot of international marathoners are looking to it to improve their chances of being selected by their respective Olympic committees. Rory Linkletter's out there. He's the only pro athlete that I know of that's going to be out there. I thought I remember hearing a couple other pro athletes thinking that they might go out there, but I'm not sure who else is going to be there. But very interested to see what he's doing. He's trying to run the Olympic standard, the 208, what is it, 208.30, something like that. There's multiple, there's like a 211 number in there somewhere, and then there's a 208 number. He's running for going for the 208 number. So hopefully he could be the second athlete named to the Canadian Olympic team. Cam Levins was already announced earlier this week. I think it was this week. So good luck to Alf, and good luck to Rory Linkletter. Leona says, my Strava friend is trying to do a marathon in every state. He ran the Mesa Marathon. He's in his 60s and average race pace is 8 something. I probably saw him. I met a lot of people that day because I was waiting for a while. There was a big gap in time between, I saw Corey the herbivore on Instagram, who was running sub 3 pace. And then I saw Remy, who they were running 12-minute pace. So there's a lot of time in between. And I do remember seeing 8 minutes. That's like 3:30 something, right? So, right? Isn't it? I saw every pace group from men's leader at the marathon all the way through 5-hour pace group. And then after that as well. I don't know that there were pace groups after that, but so I saw, there was a section though. There was a part of the time. It started raining at one point during the race. And I got real cold because I was just standing at the corner at like mile 16. And I was waiting there for maybe 30 minutes. And I just couldn't. I couldn't stand there anymore. So I ran back into Dunkin' Donuts. I was in the Dunkin' Donuts for so long that there was a guy that came up to me at one point and goes, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was shivering and like my legs were shaking and I was drinking a cup of coffee. I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just waiting for some friends, different pace groups, just take some time." He's like, "Oh, okay, sorry." He's like, "Did you run today?" I was like, "No, I'm not running. I'm just looking for my friends." He's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "I used to be a sweeper." Or not a sweeper. He used to drive the car around to pick up people at Mesa Marathon. He wasn't doing it this year. But I think he thought I needed help, like to get back to the start line or finish line or something. But that's how long I was in the Dunkin' Donuts warming up. It was good. Tyler Hicks says, Corey was so excited to see you go. I think I would be the same way. Yeah, because Corey didn't know I was going to be there. I saw his bib, and then I put him in the tracker, and I was like, I'm going to surprise that guy. Mark Peters says, the guy drives the meat wagon. Cole Bubble calls it the sag wagon. I've never heard those terms before, but I like that. Leona says her friend got first in his age group running a 3:38. Well, congratulations to him. Nice. That's awesome. Rich says, I was taking photos on the course at Mesa, so when my friend said they saw you cheering, I had to double check that you didn't secretly do Kafuzi Run Club in Phoenix while we were there. No, I didn't do a Kafuzi Run Club. I think my wife probably would have got a little bit mad if I did that. The other days, I just ran around the neighborhood where my in-laws were staying, which was pretty nice. It was in Chandler, I think we were in. It was like Mesa's up here, I guess up here, and then Chandler's whatever's below there. I think it was Chandler. So we were down there. So it was a little bit of a drive to get to Mesa. But it was, yeah. But it was a family vacation, so I didn't do it. And I realized that I love running in Phoenix area. And I realized a couple of things. I've been there many times, but I've only been there in the winter. And that may be why I love Phoenix so much. Because the weather's always just seems perfect for running every time I go. I've never been there in the summer, but I kind of have an idea because I've been to like Las Vegas in the summer. And so I know how hot it can get. And I know it got real hot there this summer, like a long hot streak, right? But yeah, and this is the first time I've been back since the pandemic. So 4 years ago at the marathon trials, everyone seems to remember that like they ran the Olympic marathon trials in Atlanta and then shut everything down like the next day. That's not true. I went from Atlanta. I don't think I went directly, but I think I might have gone home for a couple of days because then I had a work conference in Phoenix, and that work conference is always in Phoenix, and that's why I was there so many times. And so I was there. It was like a 3-day conference, and middle of the way through, like they canceled March Madness, and they started talking about how like flights were getting canceled and stuff. So then they canceled the conference. And I remember like switching my flight at the last minute because I was worried that I was going to have to like try and rent a car and drive home from Phoenix to get home. I mean, very concerned. So like that was the last time I was in Phoenix. So I hadn't been back to Phoenix since the pandemic. So it was kind of weird. Weird is the best way to put it. But yeah. All right. Midlife Runner says, I did the Kofuzi 6x6 today, but did the extra 20 to 30 seconds to complete the mile. Oh, okay. So you did by 6 by a mile. Too hard to stop short of it. That's extra work. Hopefully you made your rests longer. Jack Daniels likes 5 to 6 to 1. 5 or 6 to 1 work to rest ratio. So I would have, if you're going the full mile, I would have given yourself a couple extra seconds rest. Yeah, Cole Blue says shutdown was a week after the 2020 trials. Yeah, I remember that. I was in Phoenix. Seatown fan says, how do you get this Tracksmith deal? I actually don't know. And you know what? Tracksmith said that they were sending me a gift card, but because I PR'd in Houston, but I haven't seen it yet. But I haven't checked my mail or my. Oh, hopefully they didn't send it to my old address. I don't think they would have. I don't know. But yeah, I think there's, you just go to the Tracksmith website. You should be able to find it, or look up Tracksmith PR or something like that. I'm sure you find it. And Spencer Reek says, "How about Neely Gracie crushing the trials and then winning the Mesa Marathon? That's pretty awesome." Yeah, so I wasn't expecting to know anyone at the front of this race. I knew that I started to see some athletes posting that they were running the half, which I didn't know that so many people ran the half, and I didn't know there was also a 10K. Maybe I'll run the 10K next year. That sounds fun. But yeah, because like people like Dom Scott were posting that they're in Phoenix to run Mesa half. But I was like, I don't think I've seen anyone I know or follow on Instagram post that they were going to be running the full. And then I happened to meet Grady Daniels' parents. I was jogging down the street, and they were like, "We know you," and I was like, "Oh, hi." And they're like, "Our son watched a video of yours last night." And I was like, "What?" You're like, "Yeah, he's a fan. He's running today. He's doing well. He's in second right now." And I was like, "Wait, what? What's your son's name?" And they're like, "Grady Daniels, bib 3072 or whatever, or 3027 or whatever the number was." And so I put it into my tracker right away, and I started jogging away. I was like, "Well, it's nice to meet you guys." I think it was, I want to say Bob and Lorraine, but I'm not sure the dad's name. But the wife's name was definitely Lorraine, or Grady's mom's name is Lorraine. And I always remember whenever I meet Lorraine, because it reminds me of Back to the Future. But yeah, so then I'm like jogging maybe for 3 or 4 minutes, and then I see like the police escort coming through, and then I wasn't sure because I was waiting for the second person to be Grady, but then I saw the bib number and I was like, Grady? And I'd never met him before, and I caught him by surprise. And then I saw a couple of other men come through. Grady had like a couple of minute lead at that point, I think. A couple of men come through, and then I saw the lead woman come through, and I started filming. And then I was like, "Great job." And then she waved at me, and I was like, "I know you." But she didn't have her name on her bib. So I was like, I know this face. And then by the time she had already left, I was like, "Oh, I follow her on Instagram. I didn't know she was running today." Because I was like, didn't she run the trials? I was like, I'm not sure. Yeah. Ernest Cabanan says, "Co, did you watch the Super Bowl, Co? Yes, I did, because we were with my in-laws, and so they wanted to watch it too. And so this is the first Super Bowl that I've watched probably in a decade. I don't know. Every once in a while, like my older daughter is like, "We should watch the Super Bowl." And I'm like, "That's a good idea. Your friends are going to be watching it, and it'll give you, that way you know what everyone's talking about tomorrow." But we never make it past like the first quarter, you know. Then my younger daughter's like, "Can we watch YouTube now?" Or we just get distracted. But we actually watched the whole thing this year, and I stayed awake for the whole time. So surprises. It was a good game. Kenneth Pfaff says, "I was in Phoenix years ago, and it was 104 degrees, and everyone local was saying it's a dry heat, but 104 is still hot." Yeah, that's still hot. A Sega Dreamcast says, "I tried the 6x6 on the treadmill yesterday and only made it halfway before upsetting my stomach." Sorry about that. Trying again next week. There's no harm in easing into it. Usually I ease into it too at the beginning of a marathon training block. I'll do like 6x3 minutes or 6x4 minutes, but still give myself a minute of recovery, just to get the body used to running that speed. It's hard. It's hard to jump right into it, you know. Midlife Runner says, "Hey, sub 80 seconds on those 400-meter repeats today." Reeks of PR in here. Wait, London is PB, yeah? Is that the fastest you've done 400 meters? Yeah, I didn't look at the today's workout was 12 by 400 meters. The goal was 83 to 85 seconds for the 400s. And I don't remember coming in under 80 seconds. Maybe 80 for the fastest ones. But, you know, whenever I do speed work on that particular road, I kind of plan where the downhills are. So you have to look at the grade adjusted paces. Because I cheat a little bit. It ends up coming out pretty even when I do mile repeats. But for 400 meters, sometimes it could be really advantageous because that road is kind of rolly. But yeah, I was running some faster 800s or 400s today, right around I would say like 82 seconds to 85 seconds was where they came in. So I feel like a little bit faster than what was called for. Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't look at them that close, I guess. Is it a PR? I don't know. I mean, will it be a PR in April? I'm not sure. I am hoping for one. That's the goal. So like that'll be like the big target for spring. And then, I'll target trying to run fast in Berlin in the fall. What's going to be really hard about that is I don't like training in the summer. And Berlin comes really quick. You're doing your peak week in like the hottest months of the year here. And then it's also peak week is going to be kind of near when I'm going to be in Paris to watch the Olympics. So there's just going to be a lot of travel and stuff. So I feel like this might be my best shot at a PR for 2024. We'll see. Jason Doll says, for the Tracksmith thing, do you have to prove you PR'd? Do they just take your word on it if you run an official distance and submit proof? I'm not sure. Other people have done it, so they'd be able to answer you in here. Leona says, that Super Bowl was heartbreaking for me. Oh, as a San Francisco fan, a native, I could imagine so. And CV76 says, Kofuzi has Usher in his playlist. I actually don't have Usher in the playlist. I enjoy very many Usher songs, but I was never a huge Usher fan. I mean, they were all enjoyable in the moment. You know what I mean? Like when they came out, all very good. But I don't go back to Usher that much. Which is weird because like every once in a while I'll go on like a Justin Timberlake kick. I'm like, I like some of these songs. But I don't find myself doing that with a lot of Usher. I don't know why. Alex says, are you going to have a presence at LA Marathon this year? I don't think so. It was an option given to me, but I don't think this is it's hard to say no, but I don't think I'm going to be there this year. CJ says, can we talk about the Kiptum news? For some reason, this hits me harder than any celeb passing, except maybe Kobe. Yeah, I mean, I saw the news. Who was the first one that... I think Iron Girl Nadia was the first one to post about it that I saw. Not that it's a contest, like who can post about it first. But I saw it on Threads. And then it just seems so weird. And then like the only news report you had was from like an African website, and you're like, this seems... I'm like, my first thought was like, what's today's date? Is it April Fool's now? Because you're like, that's a terrible joke. But it wasn't a joke, unfortunately. And so it's tough. It's tough news. The guy had so much promise. And by all accounts, he seemed like a nice guy too. You know what I mean? Being that excellent at something and being a nice guy tend to not go hand in hand for some reason. But it seemed like he was a good person as well. So it's very sad to hear that the news, and it certainly has rocked the running community. I mean, it's even made it into the mainstream media as well. You know what I mean? So like even just regular news channels have been running memoriams for him, which goes to show that he already even at 24, I think he was already transcending the sport. So. Okay. All right. JC says, time to go. Happy Lagooning. All right. Is Eliza not here? Eliza's usually the one that reminds us to get to the box. But Tyler says, Sage is clenching his fist, seeing all these 6x6 workouts. I don't think he hates them. I just think he didn't like how often I was doing it. You know what I mean? All right. We got a pillow from Lagoon Sleep. I took the quiz. Hopefully I'm not going to accidentally cut this pillow open by trying to open this box. Did I tell you I used to work at? There was one summer in college where I worked at Old Navy, and one night was an inventory night, and so this truck is just delivering like a season's worth of clothes all at once, and it was late at night, and after the store had closed clearly, and they had this whole like conveyor belt system kind of set up, and we'd take the boxes, open them up with a box cutter real quick, count it all, and inventory it all, and all that kind of stuff. I ended up slashing one of my fingers really bad. I had to go to the emergency room. And ever since then, I still don't have like great feeling. It always feels a little bit pins and needles in my left pinky to this day. That was 1998, 25 years ago, 24 years ago, 26 years ago. This summer it'll be 26 years, I guess. Yeah, still feels a little bit funny in here. And I'm very afraid of box cutters. All right, it says, Own Your Rest by Lagoon. Oh, here we go. I got a note inside. Welcome to the pack. Mike, welcome to the pack. You're going to love the fox. I took the quiz and I'm a fox, which is interesting because I'm kind of obsessed with foxes. Like, you know how some people like have in their houses, like at one point you told someone you like cow print, and so then every year for the rest of your life people buy you cow print stuff and there's just cows everywhere. No one's ever bought me anything with a fox on it, but I like foxes. I don't want a house full of fox stuff, but just so you know, I like foxes. He says, you're going to love the fox. Just add or remove fill until it's a perfect fit. Our mission is to help you sleep your best so you can make every day great. Own your rest, Ryan. And then there's a sticker, which the kids will appreciate, I'm pretty sure. And instructions that go along with the pillow. And the founders, Kiwi and Ryan Hurley. There we go. Some other options, animal options. Do you guys want to guess what the other animals are? There are 8 animals. Fox is the first one. I think that probably just means I'm basic. But some of the other ones are chinchilla, koala, otter, puffin, lemur, hippo, and meerkat. Look at that. If you guys have, you guys are guessing sloth. If you guys have taken the Lagoon Sleep quiz, I think you could just go and take it. Let me know if you've gotten something that's not fox or otter. I feel like I've only met fox and otter people. Let me know. If you are chinchilla or meerkat, let me know what you answered on yours. That's what I want to know. All right, so in here, is this the extra fill that they were talking? Oh, I think this is just the extra fill. And then here is the pillow. Oh, it comes in a... I thought the pillow was like this, and I'm like, this is not what I was expecting. This is like an Asian pillow. You guys know what I'm talking about? The Asians here know what I'm talking about. It's like filled with sand, and it's super uncomfortable, and it's like a log. That's what I thought this was. It's not. I think this is just for shipping purposes. But they made this pillow, the case for the pillow, look like a pillow. Whew. This is a big pillow. There's a lot of pillow here. I think it's like vacuum sealed and stuff for shipping, and I gotta cut it open. It says, after unpacking, put your pillow in the dryer on low tumble for 15 minutes to bring it to life. And then ensure the pillow supports your head and neck in a straight line and you feel comfortable. Adjust filling level as needed for desired support. There's a tutorial video you can watch too. All right. I didn't pick the pillows on our bed. My wife did. So I'm kind of nervous about being like, hey, You know that pillow that you picked out for me? I'm not using it. I'm using this other one. We'll see how that goes over. But so far, it feels kind of floppy, but I guess you got to put it in the dryer for a little bit. Because if you got stuff like this, and it's like vacuum packed and hasn't had air in it, it needs some air fluffing, right? So we'll get that done. I'll put it in the dryer. I'll show it to you guys tomorrow. We'll do an update. What do you think? Oh, Eliza wants to know, how does it smell? Oh, that does not smell good. I don't know what the smell is. It's not plastic. Maybe that's something maybe that's the real reason you put it in the dryer too. It kind of smells faintly of food in a weird way. I don't know. No, it's not. No, now I'm getting nail polish. All sorts of things happening in here. But like faint nail polish. I don't know. Yeah, mostly kind of like maybe like nail polish and hairspray. Like a chemically smell, but. All right, T-Town Pan says taste it. I'm not going to taste this one. CJS says, apparently I'm an otter, but they must be otter their mind. I'm spending $120 on a pillow. I don't know. Where we're in Phoenix. So when my wife and I moved to this house, we spent a lot of money on a bed. We bought a very nice bed. Way more than I would ever thought I would spend on a bed. But man, I love our bed so much. And my wife picked out the pillows. I don't know what the pillows cost. I have no idea what pillows cost. Like real pillows. But what stinks now is that when I go to a hotel, it used to be when I traveled, I would go to a hotel and I'd be so excited because the bathroom would be bigger than my bathroom, the hotel room would be bigger than my bedroom, and the bed would be more comfortable than my bed. And now it's equivalent. We have a really nice bed. So there's a high bar here for the Lagoon pillow. You know what I mean? So we'll have to see. All right, David DeFrangia got otter. Guess I'm basic. Jen Runs Triangle says, maybe use a dryer sheet to freshen it up too. Oh yeah, maybe. We don't use dryer sheets because my daughter has eczema. So we can't. It irritates her skin. So. Cobalt Blue got an otter as well. Also, Emma Bates is on the website. Emma Bates is on, well, it depends on when you log. It's like, I think it rotates. Because when I checked it earlier today, it was Matt Chittum was on there. So, it depends. All right, Eric, did you have 100 KPR? What? You got, wait. Eric, you got to let me know. Where is it? Where'd it go? Put it in another one. I think I'll see it. I'll see it. Let me know what did you run? Did you run were you in Black Canyon this weekend? Oh my goodness. Oh, Kelvin says I got Meerkat. Well, how did you get Meerkat? What do you think? I don't remember what I answered. What do you think were your answers that got you the Meerkat? You're the first Meerkat I've ever met, Kelvin. All right. Let's see. And CJS says on the Lagoon Sleep Pillow website, he got Cat South Keen. That's awesome. Very cool. That's super funny. Okay. So 2 questions. Go to the Lagoon Sleep website. Tell me what animal you got on the quiz and tell me which celebrity you got on the webpage too. I got Matt Chittum. CJS got Caitlin Keene. Someone got Emma Bates. That's so funny. All right, Eric, where is it? Where is your? Tell me what race you ran. Sick of it all says I have the otter. It's okay, but I'm not sure I would buy it again at that price. Oh, you have the otter. Oh, okay. I'm a back sleeper. I don't move around very much, so maybe that's part of it. And where you go? Alex Baker wants to know any pointers for first time LA Marathon runner running it next month. Also, what's your favorite St. Patty's beer? I've only run it the one time. And so one thing I would say, the first 5K is super fast. It's downhill. I would say don't worry about going out too fast, because like I wouldn't want you to spend extra energy in braking. Just ride the hill a little bit. It's going to be a little bit on the fast side. Don't go overboard, but don't spend extra energy braking, right? And then the other thing that I would say about this course is one of the windiest courses I've ever run. And so like there's a lot of times where the road will like meander left and right just by a little bit. You're not making hard rights or hard lefts, but it's meandering. And a lot of times people just stay in the right car lane and run it as if they're a car. But there's lots of points where you could just run straight through and shave off a lot of, or run. That's how you're running the tangents and run it that way. So be aware of tangents. I think it's very easy to run extra on this race. All right, Eric. He ran. I didn't know you were in Phoenix too this weekend. Eric says he ran the Black Canyon 100K and ran up here. Congratulations, Eric. Great job. I was trying to figure out if there was a way that I could go and watch some of it. But I was like, oh no, I don't think my wife would be very happy with me if I disappeared one day to go watch a marathon and then another day to watch a 100K. That would have been not nice. Kelvin wants to know, is there a tangent adjusted pace on Strava? Nope. Someone on Threads the other day posted that they did an 8 times 1 mile workout and they were really excited about it, but then they posted on Threads like the Strava share picture. You know how it's like it takes your picture, puts Strava on it, and then it puts like the stats. And the total distance was only 7.4. And so I didn't want to call that person out, but I did kind of like post about it and saying like, runner says 8 miles, Strava says 7.4. Mwahaha. But I'm very confused as how if you ran an 8 by mile, you only came up with 7.4. There's something wrong with that, All right, Melvin Umeng says, yo, what's going on, man? Running a midwinter benchmark 5K next weekend on a Florida vacation. Are you running is it Gasparilla time? Is that what it is? Or did we already pass that? Shoe suggestion, Vaporfly 2s with 170 miles, Endorphin Pro 3s with 190 miles, brand new Endorphin Pro 2s. Buy new Vaporfly 3s. I mean, for a 5K on a benchmark race, any of the above would be great. You know what I mean? Endorphin Pro 2s would be a lot of fun. I wouldn't buy a pair of Endorphin Pro 2s just to run a 5K, although that would be a really fun shoe for a 5K. That's the one that I ran when I ran a race in Florida. When I ran the Clearwater Half Marathon with Mark Chancoco. So that would be a fun one. Vaporfly 3s I think would also be pretty fun for a 5K. Vaporfly 2s would also do really good, even at 170 miles. Same thing with the Endorphin Pro 3s. All of them would be good options. Nothing jumps out, but I probably wouldn't buy a shoe specifically for that unless you need a shoe anyway, which the more important question is, what do you want to race in later? Whatever you're benchmarking for, that might be a more important question. Oh, and someone asked if I'm wearing the Coral Space 3. Yes, I put on the Coral Space 3. This is I think they made a track edition or something like that. That's what the red, it's supposed to be lanes on a track. Because I got an email from Coros yesterday. And I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you this or not, but I'm going to tell you. So they were like, hey, do you want to test out the heart rate monitor? And I thought I had already. But I was like, I thought I had already tested this, but I can't find a video on it. So, yeah, why don't you send me one? Because they also said they have updated the algorithm for displaying current pace so that it updates faster. And that's been my biggest problem with the Coros Pace 3. So it was dead. I couldn't take it for my workout today. Today's workout would have been a great time to test it. But I got it charging. I got a heart rate monitor on the way. My heart rate has been weird on my Garmin lately. I think it's just this. I don't think it's the Garmin. I think it's this time of year, the temperatures, and what happens with like your skin at certain temperatures. But I think it's time for external heart rate monitor again. So yeah. Oh, St. Pete Runner says Gasparilla was a couple weeks ago. Oh, okay. Vanessa Martinez says, are all the side sleepers getting Otter and Emma? Because that's what I got. Yeah. I don't think it knows when you first log in which athlete to show you based on what you sleep. But I'm a back sleeper and I got the Fox. Are all side sleepers getting Auto? Wait, Steve Zabrowski says Gasparilla is next weekend. But St. Pete Runner is saying Gasparilla was a couple weeks ago. Maybe like the whole pirate ship thing is a different time than I thought they had them the same weekend. I don't know. Oh yeah, St. Pete Runner says he meant the parade. Oh okay, yeah. So it is this weekend. I've heard it's a really fun race. If my in-laws winter in Florida again in that area, they said that they like it there, but they were in Treasure Island 2 winters in a row, the last 2 winters. But they said like the place that they've been staying at, I think it got bought out. And the new place is like really increasing all the rents. The rents are too damn high, you know? So they were like, they wanted to look somewhere else. And then I love Arizona. I think I was like, this place is great, guys. I love Phoenix. They miss the beach. They like walking on the beach together. And it's super cute to watch them walk on the beach. So I'm sad that they don't have that. But I love Arizona. And my daughters really liked it too. We went on a cruise. You didn't think there could be a cruise in Phoenix. But we went on one. It was the Lake Saguaro cruise. And my younger daughter just absolutely loved it. I don't know. I think my younger daughter might have the photography bug. She loves taking pictures, and she got some good pictures of the saguaro cacti. We even saw some bighorn sheep, and we saw the 4 peaks. They had snow on them. It was really nice. I just enjoyed it a lot. Sean Devlin says, that's big Coros news. Yeah, I don't know if they were just like leaking it to me because it wasn't a lot of times when I get information from Coros, it's a big press release. And then I downloaded the firmware update because I haven't worn this watch since I tested it, and that was in the summer. But you know, they have the notes of the firmware of the upgrade notes. It didn't say anything about changing the pace algorithm, but that might not be kind of like top level stuff that they show to most people. And they were just telling me. So we'll take it out. I have a couple of different workouts in the next couple of weeks and some easy runs with strides and stuff. It'll be good opportunities to test it. So yeah, Brian says, I was going to ask you about the Coros pace since Ben Johnson seems to get great pace data from it, but maybe that's just live versus him posting later. Yeah, I think that like there's differences in terms of like what it gives you later versus what's it showing you like in the moment when you're looking at it. And I think there's an algorithm of it where I think in real life, you know, this thing is moving through space really fast, right? 90 times per minute even. And so like it has to figure out like how do you add or subtract that from the overall, you know, so there's some math that happens to it in determining like how does it average out what it shows you at any given second. And my complaint was previously the Coros pace takes a long time for a change in effort to show up as a change in pace. And they just emailed me and said like, hey, we've tweaked it. So take a look. Benjamin Davis says, you've been to CIM and Grandma's. Which is faster, do you think? I think Grandma's is faster. CIM is a lot easier to get to and far more convenient for most people. And especially if you're on the West Coast, that's a great race for you. But if you can get to Duluth, go to Duluth. It's kind of like the second half of CIM the whole way. The first half of CIM, there's some downhill, but there's a lot of uphill as well. And so there's just a lot less of uphill in Grandma's. All right, Super Engine says he's a side sleeper and he got Fox. Oh, you got Fox and you're a side sleeper? Interesting. Terry says he took the quiz on the Lagoon sleep site and says, I got see your recommendations below and it's blank. Terry, they just want you're this one. Just a blank. See, there's an empty space. That's Terry. Terry Farlong right here. For those of you can't see listening, there's 8 animals listed in a grid on this sheet that I'm holding up that I got from Lagoon Sleep. And there's an empty blank space. So that's where Terry fits right in. C-Town fan says, Arizona's a good place for photography. It sure is. My in-laws, they had a balcony and it looked right over, I don't even know what mountains they are, but just some really great sunrise and sunset views. It was incredible. We went to the aquarium while we were there. And when we were leaving the aquarium, it was like dusk. And we were walking back to the car. And I'm like, hey guys, look how beautiful that sky is over there. It was like purple and orange and all these lovely like dark tones. And my daughter's like, well, when we get to the car, can you move it to somewhere else so there wasn't parking lot in her shot? And I was like, if you want that shot, you better go right now. Because by the time we walk to the car, because parking lots are huge in Phoenix. By the time we get to the car, it's going to be too late. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, go. You don't have to run, but jog and get to that spot. There was some other people doing the same thing. Like, go where they are and take your pictures there. And so she did that. And then she got her photos. And then she came back to the car. And by the time she came back to the car, it was just gray, everything. So she learned how quickly, like that moment of sunrise or sunset can disappear. Maybe both my kids will end up getting the photography bug. I don't know. Tyler Hick says, keep us updated on the chorus. Very intrigued. I am too, because if they get this sorted, if they get the pace algorithm thing sorted, where I feel like I can trust what it says, that's going to be huge. Because the price is just so much better than Garmin's are. And C-Town fan wants to know, have you been to Flagstaff? I've not had the pleasure of being up to Flagstaff. They got like a foot of snow a day over the time that we were there. So there was no opportunity for us to go up to Flagstaff. Even my in-laws hadn't been up to Flagstaff. They wanted to go, but the weather never worked out for them. Go Running with Oliver took the Lagoon Sleep quiz and got Meerkat. And Shea Rulli was the athlete. I don't know who Shea Rulli is. Yeah, CJS says, does anyone use the Whoop band as an external heart rate sensor? Thinking of using that with the armband instead of buying a whole new thing. But he doesn't pay for the Whoop anymore, so I don't know if it would work. I don't know that either. And I was just looking at it today because I was looking for my Coros charging cable because I couldn't find it. I found it. But I also found my old Whoop. I think I have Whoop 2.0. I stopped subscribing to it years ago. But I don't know if you can use it that way. I don't know. I don't even know if I have the charger for it. Steve says, as a Florida runner, I didn't think any of the dry heat would affect me last May in Scottsdale, but 105-degree dry heat left me with goosebumps and gasping for air. It's eye-opening. Isn't that crazy? Because, Steve, you deal with a lot of heat and humidity, which I feel like would be more exasperating. than just 105 dry heat. But dry heat, it's like when you open the oven and you didn't give it a second for the heat to come out first before you look to see if your pizza's done. You know. By the way, I think I'm gonna make heart-shaped pizzas for dinner. I think the kids will like that. Ooh, I don't know if we have any. I think I could get some mozzarella cheese, but I think that's what we'll do for dinner. Make heart-shaped pizzas. But that's what it feels like when I'm in like Las Vegas heat, and especially if you've like been in like a casino for a few hours, and then your eyes aren't adjusted, and then you get outside and it's like, oh, I can't see, and you get that heat, and you still kind of have the air conditioning from inside on your backside, but then the heat hits you from the front side. It's hard. It's hard to deal with. Steve says, you don't think it's affecting you until it's too late. There was no middle ground. Oh, man, that's so funny. And Steve Blackadar says, the Whoop won't do anything without a membership. You'd need to have the phone app open to use it mid-run. Oh, okay. Interesting. So I guess that's just a dead piece of hardware for me. I mean, I don't think the hardware was a lot expensive anyway. All right, Melvin Umang is running the Max Brewer Bridge 5K. It's a smallish race. Overlooks the Kennedy Space Center. I have an unboxed pair of Endorphin Pro 2s. I was thinking of going for the Vaporfly 3s for grandmas. Okay. I mean, if you got an unboxed pair of Endorphin Pro 2s that you're just itching to use, I feel like that's a good time to use it. You know? Tyler Hicks says, we made heart-shaped pizzas last year for Valentine's Day. Smoke alarm went off and had a terrified 2-year-old. It's going to be takeout pizzas this year. That's fun. Calvin Huang says, I'm going to be returning my Alphafly 3s. Even though I set a half marathon PB in them, the experience wasn't the best, and I'd much rather use the 285 for a different shoe that I'll enjoy more. The Alphafly 3s are 285? I didn't realize that. That's expensive. Interesting. I think there's a restock coming in April. April? I don't know. I have that in my notes somewhere. It's on my calendar. Try and pick it up when it restocks in April. But it seems really weird that they wouldn't restock before then. I don't know. Fuel Buyer says, store-bought dough, or are you making your own dough? I make my own quick dough. It's not great. But it only takes me an hour. So it's a quick dough. I use rapid rise yeast, 3 cups of flour, a cup of water, a little bit less than a teaspoon of rapid rise yeast. I knead it in the KitchenAid. And then I add a little bit of olive oil to it too. And then I let it rest for about an hour. It'd be better if I let it rest longer, but I never remember. So. Sega Dreamcast says, the restock for the Alphafly 3 is with the new colorway. Hits in April. Okay. All right. So does that mean there's restocks of the existing colorway before April? What's the new colorway? I really don't like that. Was it like yellow? It's like yellow and purple. That one? That thing looks gross. I'll probably end up with that one. Ben Kennedy says, new Cielo or Endorphin Elite? I think I would lean towards the Endorphin Elite because it's lighter, and it feels to me more aggressive. But if you want something that is going to be big and bouncy, but not wild, I feel like the Cielo is going to be an interesting option for a lot of people. And most of my work that I've done in it is at 5K pace. I mean, I've done some threshold work too, but like I've done a lot of work at faster paces as well. And even as big as it is, you notice that it's big, but it still moves really well. I just wish it was a little bit lighter. I also wish that they could have put like the Carbon X3 upper on it, the knit. I just like knit. I like knit uppers. Carbon X3, SC Elite 3, Vaporfly 4%, Fly Knit. Those were all great uppers. I think there's not a lot of us knit lovers out there still. But I'll just keep banging on that drum, I guess. Steve Blackadar says the existing Alphafly 3 is the Proto, which is always a super small run and a one-time thing. Yeah, those white ones look nice. I like those. I think I wouldn't mind running into those. The yellow, what is it? Kelvin says it's Volton blue. Renault thinks it's lime green. I think it's lime green. I think it's yellow, bright yellow, which typically means it's lime green. But Kelvin says it's Volton blue. But there's something about those colors that are wrong. They are not looking good. Even if you think of it, to me, it looks like it's like a Lakers colorway. And I'm like, even then, I'm like, Lakers colors are so great. How do you mess that up? It just doesn't, something about that colorway doesn't look right to me anyway. And Andrew Scott says, to be fair, you have at least 3 pairs of shoes behind you with the same colorway. But they don't have the blue on it. So, I mean, like, I think a similar yellow is the way that, and then the pods also have a color splash that looks weird. Anyway, but this one is the Fast R2. Then Prime X Strung 2. I think that's more of a I don't know. I think that the Alphafly 3 is lime. And maybe I'm wrong. But I think this is yellow. Prime X Strung 2, I think, is yellow. Or Prime X2 Strung is yellow. I think that the Endorphin Elite are lime green. And I think that the Fast R2, I think that they're yellow. There might be a little bit of green in it. But I don't know. Ooh. Adam says he's going to a Cielo demo tonight. Oh. At Runner's Roost Run Club. Okay. You have to let me know how it goes if you're going to be there. And Lena says, is the Cielo good for slow marathoners? I think it's going to be a very good option because it has that little bit of stability. Not that it's a stability shoe, but because it has the connecting piece on the arch side. So I feel like that's going to help a lot of people. And I do feel like at a variety of paces, you get a really nice sense of the balance. So it's definitely one that I'm going to be recommending, except for the fact that it's $275. So I don't, you know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, it's expensive, but it's a fun shoe. It's a fun shoe. I think it's the most fun shoe Hoka's put out in a long time. And by long time, I mean, well, not that long. I like the Mafate 4 a lot. That's also a very fun shoe. So maybe that's not fair. I don't know. All right. Mark Peterson took the quiz and he got Otter and Kate South Keene. Nice. And Steve says, can we expect a Speed 4 review soon? No, not soon, because I don't have it yet. So I'll send an email out today to Saucony and see if they'll send me some. Otherwise, it's like 2 weeks and I could just buy them. But I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping lines of communication open with brands, because then they can answer questions like, a lot of times brands will send a shoe without stack height information and stuff. And then as I'm reviewing it, I'll be like, I don't have stack height information. Does anyone? And I'll do a quick search and no one does. And I'm like, well, either the brand's not telling people what the stack height is or no one bothered to ask. And so I'm reviewing a shoe now where even though it's under embargo, retailers have already put it as coming soon on their websites. But the information that I got about the shoe it has drop information, but not stack height. And so I just sent them an email last night and they're like, oh, here's the stacks and here's what they were last year. And I'm like, oh, perfect. It's all the information I needed. And so that's why, it's nice to be able to have those lines of communication open. So I'll send an email to Saucony because I need the Speed 4 and the Pro 4, you know? John Bohoy says, is the Cielo like a Super Blast with a carbon plate? In some ways, Conceptually, yes. It's a good way to kind of think about it, but they feel quite different. I mean, a super blast with a carbon fiber plate is basically a meta speed, So not exactly, but yeah. And the shoe that I have a question that I have that's under embargo, is it a shoe that rhymes with Bach Fix? It's not. It's a different shoe. I don't think it's on your guys' radar yet. It's a shoe I saw at TRE. And there's a lot of interesting things happening with that shoe. But you guys are going to have to wait until embargo time. Steve Blackadar says, did you ever figure out why the Speed 3 gave you hot spots? Same thing happened to me, and I couldn't figure out what it was about them. All right, here's my theory. And we'll end on this. I don't know where my Endorphin Speed are. They might be on the other shoe wall. But here's the Endorphin Pro 3. The Endorphin Pro 3 has a very similar geometry, but doesn't give me a problem. And I think it's because there's a cutout in here. And I think this channel is not decorative. And I think whatever is going on in this channel is what is relieving the pressure that's getting pushed up into my foot in the Endorphin Speed 3. Why that doesn't happen with other shoes that have similar geometries and similar foams even, I don't know. But like, that's something that happened to me in the Endorphins. So it doesn't happen in the Endorphin Pro. There's a cutout in the front. It also doesn't happen to me in the Endorphin Elite either. And it doesn't have a cutout, So like, the presence or absence of it doesn't necessarily mean anything. So that's why it's a little bit of a hypothesis. But I think that there's just something about the way that the rocker shape is, the geometry of the Endorphin Speed 4 is with that foam, that I just feel like the foam needs somewhere to go, and having like a little channel lets the foam go downward instead of upward into my foot. That's my theory. There's a couple other shoes that are giving me similar instant problems. And where is it? I think I can tell you about this. What do I have nearby? Cumulus 26. The Cumulus 26 is giving me that same problem too. This will be a shoe that I end up reviewing at some point soon. But like there's something about this shoe. I don't think there's pure gel in the forefoot here, and it's FF Blast Plus in a rubberized EVA outsole layer instead of rubber tread for the outsole. But something about this, after about 30 minutes, I start getting a hot spot that quickly turns into pain in the foot, similar to what happens in the Endorphin Speed 3. And I suspect that if they had done something to channel some of the foam in here, create some sort of, see how there's a cavity in the bottom of it in the heel? If they had a similar cavity, I suspect that would have resolved the problem for me. But I'm not sure. It's a theory. Jen Runs Triangle says, how do you keep testing shoes with instant problems? I don't really. That's why I ran enough times in the Endorphin Speed 3 for it to be consistently a problem. Then I haven't run in it since. And then like a couple months later, I took it out for a 5K easy, like a double run, and it still gave me the same problem. So I was like, nope, I'm done with that one. Same with the Cumulus. I put in enough miles to kind of know what it is, and I have my script all written for it, but I probably won't be wearing it a lot more. So, yeah. Calvin says, is that why you especially like the Nova Blast? But the Nova Blast thing, see, the thing about the Nova Blast, if we're going with that theory, it has the opposite. It has this trampoline part, which is like a bulbous part right where there's a cutout in the Endorphin Pro 3. But there are channels on this side. So again, it gives the foam somewhere to go down towards the ground rather than up towards my foot, So maybe, I don't know. I've thought a lot about it, but I don't know if there's a way to prove it, So, all right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today. We'll do this again tomorrow. I haven't been to the P.O. box in a while, and I know there's a lot of stuff there, so we'll have something fun to unbox tomorrow. And tomorrow's Tuesday. No, it isn't. It feels like a Tuesday to me. Tomorrow's Thursday. So we'll just do an unboxing then. All right. I'll see you guys at the same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Until then, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.